We're staying on this subject, and also let's expand it and find out what else could be done considering these kinds of complaints that we're hearing from the Forestry Commission and the Minister in charge of Lands and Natural Resources. Our guest now is Awula Serwah, who is the coordinator of the Eco-Conscious Citizens Ghana. She's joined us via Zoom for a conversation. Madam, good afternoon. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure you've heard the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources and also the Forestry Commission Chief Executive with these kinds of complaints about, one, lack of the adequate resources to fight or fend off people who are destroying our forest, etc. Does this come to you as a surprise?
Well, not really, but I have to add that there's a lot of confusion going on. First of all, the Forestry Commission, Mr. Alote has himself said that he has no objection to mining in forest reserves. So that is a bit disappointing coming from the person who is supposed to be protecting our forest reserve. And then the government itself, I'm not sure if you're aware that there's been the passage of the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves Regulations, LI 2462, which could allow, is making it easier to mine in forest reserve. So we are giving mixed messages, and our fear is that the lack of seriousness. If we are serious, we'll give the Forestry Commission all the resources it needs to combat the illegal miners. But the truth of the matter is that the government itself has passed LI 2462 in 2022 on the backside of Parliament, or the blind side of Parliament rather, and that is facilitating mining in forest reserves. And even areas like protected areas like globally significant biodiversity areas, plantation sites, heritage sites, and so on and so forth. They can be mined if the president thinks it's in the national interest. So I'm not sure that there's any degree of seriousness. And I would say that if we are serious, there has to be a public inquiry into Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. A public inquiry must take place, open, transparent, where anybody can go there with information and evidence if we want to get to the root of this matter.
So to you, these are conflicting signals we are hearing or getting from the state authorities. And in that regard, how is it then that so clearly we cannot even take what they are telling us, you know, with the seriousness it deserves, because in one breath, they are saying that you can go ahead and mine in forest areas. And then the other breath, there are laws that are actually supposed to guide or regulate or even prevent people from going to these areas. So clearly there's some confusion here. I'm sure that's the point you're making.
There's a lot of confusion. You remember we're doing Green Ghana. At the same time that we are doing Green Ghana, we declassify parts of Achimota Forest, the last remaining green belt in Accra. As you've rightly said, there are mixed signals. The one who is supposed to protect our forest would say that he has no objection to mining in a forest reserve in response to a request from Achimota Mining to mine in the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve. We have been told that we are trying to clamp down on mining in forest reserve, yet we go and pass the LI 2462, which is facilitating mining in forest reserves. And even the so-called protected areas, you can mine there so long as the president allows you to do so. He gives you a letter in writing. So I don't think there's any seriousness. And I keep on saying that it's very easy to say that you put your presidency on the line. That's very easy. We can all utter words. But the test of it is the steps we will take when persons, highly placed persons who we are associated with, are supposedly involved in illegal mining. What are we doing about it? Why did the report sit on somebody's desk for 2 years until the media exposed it? And now, you know, they are going on about it. But when are we going to set up a public, transparent inquiry so that all those who have been destroying our environment, destroying the future of ourselves and our children, will be held accountable? That's what we are waiting for.
Okay, I mean, the last 2-3 years that we have been engaging you, I'm sure that sometimes it feels very repetitive, the kind of conversation we have about our environment. But maybe for now, if we are to focus specifically on the forest reserves and the forest protection, how would you advise government goes about it beyond passing laws and sitting in Accra? Even in Accra, the Achimota Forest has come under, you know, a lot of criticism. Those in authority have given concessions out, like you mentioned. But how else do you think we can deal with this issue now that the Forestry Commission CEO is saying that they lack resources, they are unable to, properly protect our forest reserves? What would you advise or the strategy we use in approaching, or how best can we deal with this?
Well, first of all, stop all mining in forest reserve. Rescind the law declassifying parts of Achimota Forest. Rescind LI 2462. And then give the Forestry Commission the resources it needs. If we have put our presidency on the line, we can give the Forestry Commission the resources it needs. But it needs to be headed by somebody who actually appreciates the mandate of the Forestry Commission, not somebody who says he has no objection to mining in forest reserves. It's like a firefighter saying he has no objection to arson. So if we give the proper resources, I don't think that we can have an illegal army fighting the government forces if they are properly trained and equipped. But if they are also the ones protecting the legal miners, then we have a very difficult task at hand. So declassifying, rescind the laws that are making it easy to mine in forest reserve, and then equip the forces that are to fight against illegal mining. If you do that, there will be no problem, or not as great a problem as we have right now. The challenge we have is that with one hand, we are saying something. With the other hand, we are doing something that's facilitating illegal mining. Because I don't think we've appreciated the magnitude of the problem.
Right. Thank you so much, Awula Serwah, coordinator for the Eco-Conscious Citizens Ghana. Thank you so much.